wonder how they're gonna manage relic usage on the speedrun leaderboard. I don't know. Speedrunning this game is, in my opinion, an absolute meme. It's really stupid. I mean, I don't know. Like, no shame for people that have been enjoying speedrunning it, but it's just so. As somebody who has spent 10 years speedrunning the Souls games, this game is like the opposite of what makes speedrunning a Souls game fun for me. Yeah, it's definitely accessible, for sure. How do you speedrun it if there's fixed timings? Well, you just have to beat... The only thing that matters is how quickly you beat the boss. And I know somebody in chat's gonna say, well, of course, the gear that you get along the run matters. And yes, that's true, but it's also RNG. It's completely RNG. Like, you could beat 5 bosses and get plus 100%, like plus, you could have like plus 75% damage at full HP if you're lucky. Sorry, I feel like I need to stop. I need to stop talking about. I need to stop complaining about Nightreign. Does Mika want to play? I mean, we could play. It's probably in a run though, no? I think she just started a run. I mean, she could do a solo run first. I could do one run, and then we could like group up after or something. I don't know. The thing is, I don't know how long I'm gonna play. I don't know how long I'm gonna play Nightreign for, because I do want to play some. I do want to play some Resident Evil today. I'm not gonna play Nightreign the whole stream today. Gonna talk about Nightreign the whole stream though? Yeah, maybe. Nightreign lasts for almost 2 months. It's been less than a month since the game came out, man. What are you talking about? Yeah, we can play with Mika. Yeah, I'm only gonna play like 1 or 2, I think. Yeah, we can play. Does she have like a third, or are we just gonna play with like a random person? Play with chat. Hey, Hazeblade. I don't know what Mika wants to do. Hey, we could have chat join. I mean, Hazeblade asked to join. I don't know if Mika knows Hazeblade or what she wants to do. I don't know if she just wants to like duo or what. Stranger danger. All right, I don't know if she wants to go on Discord. We don't have to if she doesn't want to. I can invite her. We could ask Lobos to join with us, but I think Lobos is in a game too. You see, they will recycle Fulgor and Adele in the next 3 months. What does that mean?
Hi.
Hello.
How you doing?
Pretty good. I'm just gonna play like 1 or 2, I think.
Same.
Cool.
Perfect. Okay, do I mute when I hold space? I'm gonna do it. Yeah, it seems to work.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I'm so excited. We haven't been able to play before.
No, we haven't. It would be nice if we got Ella in here, but he's too busy Death Stranding.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been nice. I don't
right.
think there's any chance we'll get him to.
Yeah,
play.
well, I mean, there's gonna be more enhanced bosses, so I'm sure we could like play with him another time.
Yeah, for sure. So, how are you? You had a third, you said?
I have like a streamer buddy who could join us.
Yeah.
He was asking to play. I sent you an invite as well.
Yeah. I forgot you had to accept it.
Streamer buddy. All right, dude. Listen, I'm I'm awkward, chat. All right. Do you want to play Hazeblade? Are you still here? Yo, what's up, Aim?
So how have you found the new enhanced bosses?
Yeah, it's been good. Have you beaten both of them now?
Yeah, I mean, today I fought the second one 6 times, and I beat him 6 times.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I feel like a lot of people are getting really good at the game too. So.
Yeah, that's true. But I did him solo first try as well, but I guess solo is kind of easy, I suppose.
Yeah, solo's kind of crazy now with the buffs they did, and like you just get so many revives.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I had I think 4 revives last time.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I skipped healing because I figured it's more worth it if I just die.
Yeah, for sure. Like, yeah, when you're really low, sometimes it's better just to use the res, and it makes you like invulnerable when you get up. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and you get a full heal from that as well. So.
Yeah, I was playing with randoms all day yesterday, and one game was like the most cursed game. We kept disconnecting, and then eventually I got back in the lobby, one guy just left for good, so it was just me and this like super laggy dude. And then halfway through the match, he became invisible, and I was just fighting with a ghost like the entire
That's
match. And
I have
yeah,
had a
we
bug
died.
where sorry?
I was just saying we died. We failed that run.
Yeah. I had a one run where the ally, I couldn't target any allies, and I think I was shit, I was one character. I think I was Recluse or something, or I don't remember what I was, but I couldn't target them. I couldn't see them, or I couldn't see them on the map. I couldn't see their pings. I also couldn't resurrect them, so I couldn't interact with them at all. I could only see them.
Oh yeah, that's really scuffed.
Yeah.
You'll have to rejoin the call. I'm making new Discord call.
All right. Hi.
What's up, Hazewood?
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. Yes.
Okay, good. I swear every time I update my computer, I have to like redo my OBS audio stuff.
Oh man, that sucks. Windows, am I right? I feel every time you plug in a PlayStation controller. Where does
Oh my
that go?
god, that drives me freaking crazy. I think there's a way to make it not do that, but I just deal with it every time.
I turned my
Yeah,
system sounds down and it seems to help a little bit, but yeah.
Your name is Hazeblade?
Yes. Haze is fine.
Cool. Nice to meet you. I'm Mika.
Nice to meet you, Mika.
You gonna play Wilder, Mika?
I'm up for anything, to be honest.
Okay. Have you done much like triple of one class before?
I've done triple Wilder mostly.
Okay.
I would like to try triple Recluse at some point, though.
Yeah, triple Revenant is actually pretty fun.
Really?
Yeah, well, so you can, the ult prevents you from dying to the storm. So like, we did triple Revenant, and you know, sometimes if the storm's coming in and we're fighting a boss, we would all just like ult in succession, and you could just fight for like 30 seconds in the storm. So it's pretty nice.
That's awesome. I haven't been in the storm so long, but like if you stay in there long, it gets worse and worse, doesn't it?
Yeah, after I think like a minute and a half, it'll instantly kill you. It takes a long time though. I sent you an invite, Haze.
My chat is bullying me. Rude chat. Hey, does your chat also bully you?
Yeah, all the time, and then they gaslight me. It's great.
Oh.
Depends.
Yeah,
Sometimes my chat
honestly-
is nice.
Yeah, they're nice. Yeah, they are, but like, the bullying, man. Gotta stop. Stop the bullying, chat.
I feel like the more you fight it, the worse it gets. You know.
But that's kind of funny, isn't it? It's like when you tell them to stop doing copy pastas.
Yeah. Yeah. True. So do you just want to do the new boss? I assume so. You probably haven't fought him that much. Okay.
Yeah, I'm down for whatever. So.
Yeah, me too. Hey, so have you played a lot of like? Sorry, I'm not familiar with your channel, but what kind of stuff do you do?
I do a lot of horror and Souls-like stuff.
Ah,
so
cool.
I've been grinding out a lot of Nightreign since that came out, and then I do a lot of like, Resident Evil mostly.
Oh, sick! I love Resident Evil.
Oh, Lance, thank you for the 20 months.
Yeah,
thank you, man.
It's a good combo.
Yeah. What do you? Are we gonna do random characters first, or are we gonna do specific? Do you want to do 3 Revenant?
I'm gonna play Revenant. You can join me, or you know, whatever. We could do the triple one like second game or something if we want.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm really bad at Revenant. I would do it, but yeah, maybe not the first time.
It's
I can do it
Ghost,
next
have you
time.
killed the enhanced boss yet? I know you were stranding it up for a while.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was fighting him like all day yesterday. So
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, I killed it 6 times today. And I fought it 6 times, so I've had pretty good runs.
Nice.
I lost my 50 win streak yesterday. I was so sad.
Oh my
No.
god, 50! That's wild.
Yeah, it was with that game with the invisible man.
Oh shit, that
Yeah.
sucks. And then you lose it because of some bug or,
Yeah,
or lag. Oh,
it's
man, that
okay.
sucks. It's like when me and Ella fought for the sword and he got the netcode on his side. Bruh.
Oh yeah.
I'll probably play Raider for the first
It
match.
wasn't the invisible man's
That
fault.
was good.
Yeah, sounds good.
I hated him when the game first came out, but he's really grown on me the last couple weeks.
Yeah, it was the same for me. His attacks are so slow, but like he's just so strong. The punch is so good too.
Yeah, it's just nice when you get to Night Aspect and you can just ego all of his attacks with your character skill.
Yeah, true. All right, well I'm ready. Can I use the dark skin? I kind of
Yeah,
like this
waiting for
skin
haste,
though.
I guess?
Yep.
Oh, there we go.
I was just making sure I had the right relics.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I've been bouncing around, like trying different stuff on solo, because whenever the new enhanced bosses have come out, I've been trying to make a point to like kill it on solo with all the characters, just so that way I, am not just like good at one character.
That's good. What's your favorite character?
Favorite versus like best at, I don't know. Like I like Iron Eye a lot, but I feel like he's the Peach character, and so I think I'm more inclined for like Raider and even Guardian. I feel like Guardian's really slept on. A lot of people don't like him, but I've kind of found a playstyle that I really like with him. So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah,
He's
Revenant
really
and
good.
Recluse are just, I don't like them at all.
Yeah. I Recluse I like a lot actually, and it's weird because I don't really like wizard, like
Yeah.
ranged in general. But Recluse is pretty damn fun, I think, and also I do like the ranged Ironhide as well. He's cool.
I like how versatile he is. He's just like a really good, like you can use him up close, you can use him at range. His dash is just very OP.
Yeah, the mark is insane. It's so good.
Yeah.
Especially when you get a bunch of
Yeah, when you
CDR
get-
and 2 charges.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. You can just spam that shit.
I'm running the Everjail relic. I don't know if you guys are too, but
Oh yes, you're a meta slave, just like me.
oh yeah.
Oh, I'm not. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, one of the
I
new
know what
relics
changed.
is just so insane. I'm sure your chat's probably been telling you about it.
Yeah, I mean, I bought it,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I'm just kind of stuck in my ways.
You could do this Everjail level 2. Surely it'll be fine.
Let's go.
Do you care about the mage tower?
Yeah,
for your
I
build?
forgot to grab the talismans. I was distracted. It's a god skin at level 2. Doing good, Mika.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went east when you guys clearly went west. Coming.
Oh, the fairies.
Yeah, I love parrying this guy. There's like 3 guys I love the parry in this game, and this is one of them for sure. The
Yeah.
bell bearing, and the crucibles.
Well, we're gonna get a ton of runes from this at least. This will be nice. I'm gonna go get those seals. I don't really know where we should go though.
Okay. Let's see.
Could go
We have
south.
a lightning camp. Yeah, we have a lightning camp down there as well.
Yeah, we can go south then. That's good.
I've got another key, so.
Sweet.
Did you grab all the
Did you want
seals, Hayes? Do you have
I
them?
did. Here.
Okay. I was like, where did they go?
I'm so used to playing solo where like at the first camp I just grab everything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, on solo when I run the jail build, I just literally run into locations. I don't even kill the bosses. I just grab the keys and just rush them.
Yeah. Yeah, the Evergel relic is, I don't know, it's cool, but it is like the best thing to do every time, which a little OP.
Yeah. I fully expect it to get nerfed very soon.
Yeah, I
Which
think
one?
so.
Like the.
So you start with a key, and then on top of that, you also get a permanent attack power boost every time you defeat an Evergel boss.
Yeah. Crazy. If you synergize with your teammates, it's crazy.
We're gonna do like 2 matches of Nightreign, and then once Mika, I think Mika said she's down to play like 2, and then I think we're gonna switch to Resident Evil after that, is the plan, most likely. Alright, I'm here, guys. Sorry. I got 2 stone sword keys though at the church.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I guess I should have switched my my relic.
You can put on the next match. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a crazy relic though, because if you do all 7 Everjails, you get, it's 5% damage per Everjail, but they multiply on each other. So it's actually like 41% if you clear all the Everjails. 41% extra damage.
That's wild.
Translation in 4 hours. Yeah, maybe.
Are you mostly doing spells, Dust?
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
melee as this class is not good. I feel like.
I just wish she had a better sustain on her mana.
Yeah, that's like the main issue. The fact Recluse has a way to get mana back, but Revenant doesn't is.
Yeah. I feel like
Questionable.
maybe when she uses a healing potion, it would be cool if she also gets a mana back or something.
Yeah, I mean there is that effect if you get raided by the space whale thing, augur.
Yeah. Space whale.
I got another key.
Where the heck is the frickin'? I'm gonna get this church. Also, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the circle does like fixed amount of damage. So you actually die to it faster as like a caster class, since your health pool is just like smaller. That's
Yeah. Okay. That's kind of weird though. I guess. No, maybe not.
Does a whole lot less damage on night 1 too.
yeah.
Have you become a pro storm runner, Dist?
What do you mean? I mean,
It was found a couple of weeks ago that like after night 2 you can literally just keep running back into the storm and it
oh
never, like,
yeah, I've known about that since the network test, but I never really did it that much because it's I don't know. It's like kind of unnecessary. I feel like.
It's very peachy, but yeah, it's like I've found with like Recluse and Revenant, it's particularly bad because you have no health, but it's also like kind of necessary if you end up getting just completely fucked by the circle and you have like no items. Like it's worth going back into the storm to solve a mage tower or something like that, you know?
You gonna go down, Nika?
Oh yeah, just next to the church.
I'm gonna try to get you up here. There we go. Ooh, that was close.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't hit this.
Well, I do think you have more health than me. So
Oh wait, that's mine. What am I fucking doing? I'm fighting my own jellyfish. I was like, why can't I hit it, bro?
Oh, that's because we spent too much time.
Yeah, it's 2 minutes. After 2 minutes, you get insta-killed.
Oh shoot. Okay, well, you know what? It's fine.
That's okay.
I think you guys just come to the castle, and we'll.
We can pick it up day 2 or something.
We'll get them
Yeah.
later. All good.
Although I think the circle might go all the way to the top left of the map, so that's a little unfortunate. I mean, you could. Yeah. Oh, you guys spawned so far away.
Yeah, it's kind of far. I mean, we can probably get it though. I don't know if it's worth it. It's more worth it.
I think it's probably better to wait for like day 2 to get it back.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think the circle's probably going to be in the upper left corner.
Yeah. I'm
That
fighting
was,
the
by the way,
boss at the bottom of the castle, by the way.
I'll follow Hayes and I'll do the same. I hope you're okay with this.
I'm doing all right.
He's a god gamer. He's fine.
Trill.
Wasn't too far, I guess.
A guy got my soul though. Oh. I got him. Bad luck. So guys, can you explain more about that lane walking? I don't really understand what it means.
Yeah, so after night 2, instead of like going into the spirit shelter, you can actually just run back out into the storm, and most of the bosses are still there. The only ones that aren't available are like some of the roaming bosses and the one that we're fighting right now. A handful of them will despawn, but you can just go back into the storm and like, let's say you're playing Revenant and you have like no good spells at all, but like there's mage towers somewhat close by. You can just run into the storm, solve the mage tower, grab the stuff, and you can just keep doing that over and over and over. And when you die, just run back and grab your souls. You can do it for an hour if you want to. The circle never like fully collapses on the spirit shelter.
Okay.
So yeah, it's pretty crazy. Pretty much guarantees that you can hit level 15 on every single run, and also have like some decent stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a little cheesy. I'm surprised they didn't like lock you in after day 2 is like over.
But like,
I was surprised too.
Does it kill you though? Like after some time, or maybe?
Yeah, it still kills you after 2 minutes, so you got to keep an eye on your health. But all the graces and stuff come back online, so you can like run through the graces to replenish your flasks. But you do have to limit it to like 2 minutes at a time.
Right.
But yeah, I've gone at the end of day 2 before and just like cleared out the Crucible Knights here. And I keep dying over and over, but I just come back, grab my souls, and just keep going, so. Oh, Dis, you might want this.
Yes, I do. Oh, I should have activated a shifting guard too, I guess. That's alright.
Probably cop the church on the way.
Yeah, you lose a level when you die, but you can just get it back.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Look how much I'm dying so fast to the storm, man. Yeah, how have the Liza P runs been going, Blanks? saw Spicy was doing runs today. I don't know how much he likes the run though. A triple onion day. We might do triple Revenant, or maybe triple of, well, I don't know, triple of some class, I guess.
Still have a stone sword key, by the way, Dust.
Yeah, same.
We can maybe do this one after the boss.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good.
Actually, we might be able to start it now. Well, he's gonna go back to full health, I guess, after the...
Yeah, we should just do it
I was just
after,
thinking we should definitely try to do something on the way back since we've got a little bit of time. Could maybe kill the boss in this fort real quick. Banished Knights.
Ugh.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Alright. Wrath of Gold has a high damage revive value. Oh, really?
So we're going castle day 2, I guess? The Crucibles.
Yeah, yeah, just do...
Yeah, we could. We can do a couple of jails on the way.
Yeah, we could
yeah, that'd
do
be great.
that jail and then the one, like, north and in the rivers.
Yeah. You have 2 keys, Sis?
Yeah, I've got 2. 3 total.
Yeah, that should be fun. What's your favorite shifting earth, man?
I like Noclateo, just because it's, like, cool.
Yeah,
And you can
visually it's
dupe
really
weapons. It kind of depends on what class I'm playing, because like Raider, you can dupe a weapon and then you have like insta power stance, which is great.
Yeah.
I got the you know, the active logic, and I did that as Raider.
Nice. Yeah, I like the city, but I feel like Crater's kind of tried and true though. Pretty much, it seems like the best.
Yeah.
Like, you know, no matter what you're doing, the Crater is always kind of good.
Yeah, that's true.
What's your least favorite? For me, it's probably the mountain.
I'd say the Rock Woods. I feel like finding that seed is just a pain in the ass. And like, if you get a bell-bearing hunter and a death ray bird in the frickin' rotted place, it just takes way too long to kill anything.
Yeah, it can be really painful. Sometimes it's fun.
Although I've noticed with the Everjail meta, the bell-bearing hunter's slightly less of a pain in the ass.
I can imagine.
Yeah, I still like the Rot Swamp, because you do get max health from the like special thing you get. Pretty nice.
Yeah, there's a chest up here. I'm gonna check it out real quick. Ooh, there was a key in it. Nice.
Are we going to the south one first?
Yeah, yeah.
Or the north one? No, south.
Do the Everjail like right next to us.
Okay, so that's 4 keys.
Seems like I really missed out on not having the relic.
Yeah, that relic. Like, easily the best one in the game. Normally like
You
2
guys
bosses.
like-
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead, you first.
I was just saying there's like 2 bosses northeast here that we can kill on the way.
Yeah, let's do it. I was gonna ask if you guys like the gradual restoration effect you can get?
Like the HP restoration?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's
I haven't
alright.
actually tried it much. Is it actually decent?
I don't like it. Well, it's you heal more, but like if you have
Oh,
like
the one
Go
that changes your
forth.
flask.
Touch the
Yeah.
demon inside me.
I think it's all right, and it depends on who you play. But if you can, like with Guardian, it's decent because you take a lot of chip damage with him. But
true.
when you get bonked for like 80% of your health, I feel like that flask just doesn't get quite as much value.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah. Definitely better on the tankier classes for sure.
I have an insane weapon for you, by the way, just.
Okay.
It's got a good passive on it.
Are you guys fighting the
geez.
Retta?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Fighting the black knife from.
Oh my gosh, the black knife on Revenant is kind of insane.
Alright, well,
have
we
two
got a
now.
double boss fight now. No.
And I'm finding the worst one. Okay, she teleported away.
Dude, I can't see shit.
Here you go, this.
Yep.
Look what I got. I got 2 of these
Oh, dang.
helping people.
Oh, nice. I don't know if I've even seen that drop a single time.
Really? I get it
Yeah.
like almost every game, I feel like.
I wonder if it's like there has to be a wilder in your group for it to drop or something. Because I feel like the weapon drops like it's a pool based on maybe who's in the match.
Yeah, to some degree. I think,
Yeah, for
definitely.
sure.
I don't play WoW a lot, so that might be why.
I have never seen Guys' wheel. Like the whirligig weapon,
Yeah,
what you want
I
to call
haven't
it.
seen it either.
I had it just the other game. And I've had it
Okay.
a few times with Revenant as well.
With Revenant, really.
Yeah, I just can't say no to that weapon. It's like you see it and you're like, okay, fine.
Yeah, it's it's sick. I've played so much and I've still never seen it.
Huh. How many hours do you got in the game now?
Like 230 or something.
Okay.
I'm at 164. I
I'm
wanted
at-
to play it a lot more on release, but I've had
Yeah.
a lot of IRL shit going on.
All right.
Also, I was writing a lot of the guides that came out for IGN, so that took up a lot of my time on PS5.
Oh, that's cool.
I think I have 100 on PS5, so I guess I should say I'm at like 260.
I have 100.
That's pretty good. I mean, I got like 30 hours of mine before the game even came out as well, practicing for the frickin' tournament thing.
Yeah, I have
really
like maybe
sad
12
that-
hours off stream. Or off before release.
Gotcha.
Gotcha. I was really sad that IGN gave me a PS5 code, and it was like a huge slip up because initially I had requested PC, and they were like, all right, cool, we got you for PC. But then like there was a group of other IGN employees that were like, hey, we want to do like a squad on PS5 or whatever. Would you be down for a PS5 code? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. It's not that big of a deal. And then all of them ended up doing PC, so
What?
I ended up not having a PC code until launch. It was very unfortunate.
That's
sucks.
wild.
Oh yeah, we have a flower here. We
Yeah, if you want to kill
Is it
Star.
down or up?
just put for the spirit spring.
Oh, this boss is a pushover. I got the Great Warden duel.
That's easy.
haven't found any lightning.
Here we are.
Welcome. I have one more key. I'm gonna go check the drops if you guys want to go to the castle or something in the meantime.
Okay.
Are you checking the treasure chest?
I was just checking the loot from the flower.
Okay.
'Cause I rushed the.
Oh,
the
right,
other-
right. I think there's
I
a
bet it's
chest
gonna
on
be
this
terrible.
tower.
It's always terrible when you go back for it.
I'll meet you guys at the Everjump. There's a church over there we can get to.
But should we do the castle first, maybe?
Yeah, we can.
We're like right here.
We might run out of data. Oh no, we have time. We're not even halfway through the day. Need to pop into a mine and upgrade this weapon. Or we could try our luck with the lightning camp by the Everjump.
Ooh.
Did we want to kill the boss on the roof, or?
Yeah, I was just figured we'd kill this guy first. Go. Do the little skip.
Yep.
Oh, why did I pick that up? Oh, whatever. I had lightning spear, but I didn't grab it. Although it honestly misses a lot on this boss, so maybe it's fine.
Are you doing the skip behind over there?
Yeah.
It's way faster, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's like only 5 or 10 seconds, I think.
Oh, is there another way up? I didn't even realize.
There's a few different like skips you can do to get up here quicker. Some of them are kind of oh my. I've been pecked.
With his mighty pecker.
Are we ready to rock?
Yes. Are we going directly to the camp first, or?
We can try. We could try the lightning camp. If we don't get a weapon for me, I'm gonna have to hit up a mine.
Alright.
I have a blue. I upgraded my axe to blue when we were at the merchant, but I would like it purple.
By the way, what do you guys think about the lock-on in this game?
Huh. Don't get
Somehow
me
worse than
started.
Elden Ring.
Yeah, I don't
Not
get
sure
what they did.
but
They like made it too hard to switch or something.
It's yeah, it's so weird.
and I got a whole lot of nothing, so we
That's
can do
rough.
the Everjoe.
Maybe I should have dropped that
Do the
lightning
Everjoe,
weapon for
grab the
one of
church,
them.
and then
You guys both
Lightning
have
weapon.
lightning weapons?
yeah, I put lightning on my Ash of War.
I mean,
It's okay
I
if
have
you
these
don't.
cool weapons, so
Yeah, as long as one
They look
person
so
has
cool.
lightning, it's usually fine. I don't think he gets stunned anymore with lightning after phase 1, so
no, it's only phase 1. I'm choosing fashion soul over being smart here.
oh nice, at least the tree's pretty close.
Ouch.
I mean, if you
Oh,
want to
shit,
go
sorry.
into that, we can go into this mine here. I think
Yeah.
we'll have to tank a bit. It'll be doable.
You want to kill the Zamor hero real quick? I'm already 15, so I don't really need the runes. Just need the weapon
Yeah.
upgrade.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Do you need more than one, by the way, or just one stone?
Just one. I did happen to get another one in here though.
Ah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll need one, so I could drop one. Any of you need?
Yeah, you can get 4 at least.
I think one is probably good.
So did you play that game Peak?
Yeah, yeah. I was playing with Ella and Leppa. It was fun, honestly.
Oh, that's the one where you climb, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Were you thinking about playing it, or?
No, there was some people were asking about it in chat, and I remembered you played it with Ella, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's cool. They generate like a new map every 24 hours in the game too. So if you want to like play it again, it's not the same every time. It's cool.
That's cool.
What's the biggest feature that y'all want to see come to this game in the future?
Well, they have purple bosses, right? What if they had legendary bosses too?
That'd be cool.
I would love some like action, like super difficult, just just brutal bosses.
Yeah, the legendary bosses.
Yep. Exactly.
I would like to see something like Hades or Doom style, like difficulty customization.
Very
for
good.
creators. I think that's kind of the
Yeah, that would be cool.
solution I would like. That way, like, you define it on your terms, how difficult you want it to be, but then the relics and stuff that you get, they scale up as you continue to.
I wonder how much damage I'm doing right now.
Yeah, I want a battle pass with pay to win loot.
I want to spend $30 a month every season.
I would love to see them add in more bosses from the other games. And like
Yeah.
enemies too.
Yeah,
There's so
for
many
sure.
cool enemies from like Dark Souls 1, 2, 3
Oh yeah.
that could be in this game. Because I mean the only enemy from the games is Freya's spiders. And that's just part of the boss fight. So.
I'm sure that they're saving that for like DLC. Like
Yeah,
hopefully.
copium.
Come on. Surely. More weapons though. Imagine if they took weapons from like maybe that wouldn't work. I don't know, but some weapons from like Dark Souls 2 and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean Dark Souls 3 weapons all have weapon arts like built in, so they
Yeah.
wouldn't even need to make weapon arts.
Do you need any Starlight Shards, Dust?
Yeah. Also here,
Have
you
like
can
100,000
take this,
runes.
because if I go down, I'm less likely to make good use of that.
Yeah, let me drink this thing. Here we go.
I dropped a couple too. I don't know.
Oh. Yeah, I might need like 2 Starlight Shards.
Yeah, I can get you some.
Oh, there they are. Thank you.
There's 2 more if you need them.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Take all of our stuff.
Oh, thanks.
Somehow I still managed to burn through like 90k.
Yeah, this merchant is expensive.
Yeah, if you buy a
So-
lot of that stuff at the other merchants, it's like 80% cheaper.
Yeah, it's crazy. So
First
it would
relics.
be cool if you could pick up cosmetics in the map, like when you're playing, and there's like a rare cosmetic you can get. Skin.
That would be sick. I'm doing negative damage. Oh, there we go. I'm just missing all my spells.
Oh yeah, that's a hard one. Have you seen his feet? They're so weird. Oh god, I forgot about that one.
Yeah, that thing does so much damage.
Thank you.
Oh, my turn. I actually expected that to miss me being on top of the totem.
I really thought that was gonna hit me, chap. He really wants me.
You're squishy.
That is true. You just get so much damage during staggers in this game. It's so
Yeah.
crazy.
Oh, that's
Yeah, nice job.
Yeah, I waited as long as I could to take the repost.
Yeah, that was good.
nice, GG.
Very good.
707. Oh, the flexing, but no yellows.
Time to see what kind of dog shit loot I got.
Yeah, the relics are...
Yeah.
I really wish there was a way to, you know, slowly, like, build a really good relic. You know,
Yeah.
you could,
for
like,
sure.
roll one specific effect over and over again, and then eventually, like, craft, you know, like, a really good relic. Even if it costs a bunch.
Almost wish it was like Diablo style, where like you have an option to like sell it, dismantle it, you know, and then if you dismantle it, you get materials that you can use, like you know, another alt currency to get the effects that you want. I think that would be cool.
Guys, I have
Yeah.
a quick question. What
Mm-hmm.
color is that relic that gives you the
The
It's
jails?
yellow.
Yellow, yeah.
it's yellow? Okay. I have so many. I feel like you get so many.
Yeah.
Triple yellow is kind of an insane chalice to use because you can do the poison and the frostbite one too. Starting weapon is just absolutely cracked.
What's my win streak? It's 50. We lost the win streak yesterday because of the invisible man. Yeah, I could turn on a shifting earth for us. If we want to do one.
Does it always pick the party leader or is it like random?
I think it's the party leader. I'm not 100%
I can
sure.
summon one too. I've got literally nothing to spend my currency on anymore. I have all the
You have-
skins. I have all the
nice.
relics.
I'm gonna save mine. Haha.
I'm kind of tempted to save up like 500,000 and just drop like 100 relics or 1,000 relics, excuse me. Just go nuts. And then get one good one out of all that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, if there's a particular one you want to target, I can summon one too.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do Noclateo, I think.
Okay. I'll do the
That's
same
the one
thing.
I'm worst at, so I'm actually excited about learning more about it.
Yeah, there's
Alright, I've
a
summoned mine.
there's like a really good chest. I'm sure you probably know about it, Hayes, because you've been playing insane amount. But there's a chest that gives like a pretty good chance of getting a legendary in Noclateo that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
think
know
I
if
know
I
about
found that one. Ever since I finished all the remembrance quests, unless I pay to get the event, I almost never see them. Like they barely ever pop up randomly for me.
Mm. Oh, we're
They
doing the
just don't
triple
pop up to me
Revenant.
at all, almost. Yeah, we are.
All right.
Oh
I'm
boy.
shit at her. Okay, she's like my. Besides
I don't
Duchess,
like her
she's
at
my
all.
least played.
You
I
don't
think
like her at
and
all?
Recluse. I think her and Recluse are just so gear dependent. Like you go and you play, and if you just like don't get the right spells, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true
Yeah,
a
for
little
sure.
bit.
I feel like with Recluse, like if you get Stars of Ruin within the first day, you're set. But if
Yeah,
not, you're
Stars is
stressed
so good.
out until.
I feel like Recluse, at least the Shattering Crystal is really good, and I feel like you can get that
Yeah.
almost every match. It's so common for whatever reason.
Which skin are you guys using? So we don't use the same.
Darkness.
Okay.
I have the Dawn one
Interesting
on.
me. Okay, cool. Oh, there I see. Absolute. Horror? Yes, that's how it goes.
I'm gonna get some water. I will be right back.
Alright. So, Hayes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite Souls game?
Ooh, that's a good question. I mean, are we talking specifically Dark Souls, or are we talking FromSoft in general?
I'll say FromSoft in general.
I mean, I think I have to go with Elden Ring, just because it's a game that just I've always loved Souls games ever since like 2012 when I started getting into them. But I don't know. There's something about Elden Ring. There's a certain charm to it that just feels like it's a culmination of just so much feedback and everything that the series has been for a long time, all in one package.
My favorite is Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, I have a soft spot for Dark Souls 2, which is funny because I actually haven't played it in years, but when I was in the Navy, that was like the game I went to just zone out with all the stress of being in the service. Like, I played the hell out of DS2 when it came out.
I love DS2, yeah. My favorite is also Elden Ring. But DS2 is definitely, like, it's good, it's just not the best, like, Souls game, you know?
Yeah, it's definitely an acquired taste, I think.
Yeah. But I think for me, Elden Ring did a lot for me when it comes to my streaming as well. So I think even when I just started doing my first playthrough of Souls, I just started being a full-time streamer. of Elden Ring. I mean, I just started being a full-time streamer, and it just doubled my view counts, which is pretty crazy. I don't even know why, but and then I did so
Nice.
many challenge runs, and they become very like it did a lot for me personally. Besides it just being an amazing game.
Yeah, for sure. I did a lot of speedruns with like Dist and Spicy when Elden Ring first came out. And when the zip got discovered, I got like my first ever 500,000 view YouTube video. Like it was crazy.
That's awesome.
I put up world's first 25-minute run or sub 25-minute run with the zip glitch, and then after that, that's when the zip just like exploded. And it was only like a few weeks later that the run was down to like 4 minutes.
No more Dark Drift Night. We're doing another one.
I think it was sub 7. I think it was sub 7 that happened right after that. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. But I've bounced around quite a bit. I got my start with RE2 Remake. Like I started streaming before that, but speedrunning Resident Evil 2 Remake, I ended up running it at GDQ, and IGN featured me on it a few times. That's kind of like how I started doing freelance with them.
Dude,
was getting
the zips were so crazy, man.
And then after that, kind of branched out into Souls, and I ran Back for Blood for a little bit. That temporarily exploded my stream for a while. I went from averaging like 40 viewers to like 500 for a while. And then there was like a huge falling out because of some drama that happened with me and Warner Brothers, but we won't get into that.
Oh, gee. Drama.
Yep, they didn't like that I was speedrunning their game. That's kind of a long story short.
What? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's their right, I suppose, but...
Yeah, Back for Blood. Just...
I think the devs like fixed all the speedrun glitches, and they did not. They did not want people
speedrunning is so
speedrunning.
good. It's so good for like a community, you know.
Some
I think
devs
what they
are
had
just
a
so
problem
weird.
with is that I was like doing the speedrun on multiplayer, so I was like helping carry people.
Oh.
And the game just could not keep up with me like going as fast as I was online, and it would like stop all the spawns and stuff. And so people on like Reddit were getting mad about it, and yeah, it was a whole thing. And then eventually like some people held the game hostage.
What?
And I like called them out on it, and like it turned out they were in my chat, and I just happened to like click on their profile picture in chat. And apparently doing that was considered doxing, and I was like,
What?
Yeah, that was my reaction. They were like, yeah, you doxed another player, and I was like, yeah, no, that's not what happened. They were trolling, and I dealt with them. That's what happened.
That's crazy.
So I was sponsored by them for like 2 months, and they revoked my sponsorship and everything. It was a whole thing.
Wow. That's
I'm not one to burn bridges, but that bridge got scorched.
Do we all have the?
Oh, you can't have them all.
The stone sword key thing, by the way, start. I guess I could check.
I still run it from time to time just to please the crowd, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all started with the stone sword key. Nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I guess it's good now because we don't have the castle either, so it's a good opportunity.
Yeah. I think looks like there's 5 Everjails on the map. We got the Godskin at the start again. It's a different one this time though. Oh god. Make sure to summon your Fredericks, everybody.
Yeah, I'm not very good at Frederick. Wait, hold on.
No. Whenever I play Duchess, I forget to restage like all the time, and yeah, my chat gives me a lot of shit about it. You're ready to not be able to see anything.
Oh, I forgot I have Hoarfrost Stomp is so back-dist.
Oh yeah, so when we ult, it actually it will buff everybody's summon.
Oh,
so like
that's
all
why.
the summons will do the special attack. It's pretty sick.
Grab the flask.
We're all gonna be greedy for the seals and stuff.
Yeah, I think we should go along the right side and check both of those churches so we can get spells.
For sure. I actually don't mind playing melee Revenant as long as I have a good Ash.
You
Like
have
if we
4
get, like, a
Frost
Black
Stomp,
Knight.
I think I saw.
Yeah, I have 4 Frost Stomp, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I want to try the Papa if anyone gets it. Like, or if it drops, it's so cool.
Oh, the Cypher Pata, you were saying?
Yeah.
Gotcha. I did not. I have used that once, and it was not a fun experience. I was just like missing the whole time.
Really?
But yeah, so make sure like if you're gonna ult, you want the summons to be like up first, because otherwise they don't get their like special attack buff thing. Oh yeah, look at him. Frederick's going in. Oh yeah, I have heal.
Oh yeah.
We both have heal. Yeah, we could have nuked him so fast.
We could have just stood and healed, and he would have died so much faster.
That does a good amount, yeah. It's not as much as it does in like normal Elden Ring, I think, but it is definitely good still.
Very good. Very good indeed.
I think the seals spawned at the top. Actually, no, they're in the bottom. There's the hole, right?
Do we do this boss too,
Yeah,
or?
I got a key. I got another key.
Or do we do the boss?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, sure.
It's a easy one.
Okay, they're kind of getting nuked.
Yeah, this boss is pretty good stuff. Dropping Bestial Sling here, it's like decent. If any of you just need a spell for now.
I mean, I just grabbed it, but Mika, if you need it, I can pass it over. I have
I don't know
decent spells.
if I need it, but I don't really have any spells right now, I guess.
Okay, I can drop it to you. Yeah, let's just check this one for a key, and then we can head into the circle.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 2 keys still.
We can kill this Guardian too.
So is Frederick the best one?
Is what the best?
Him and is it Sebastian? Sebastian's pretty good, but he gets nuked pretty quick if he's going up against something big.
Yeah.
Did we get a key?
I actually didn't check.
Oh, I got it. Yes, there's a key.
So if
And
you
also-
have the buff that it's like power up when fighting with allies, I'm sure you've probably seen that before. If you summon Frederick, then you get a 10% damage buff. I think Helen is health recovery, and then Sebastian is maybe defense. Not sure.
I know very little about what all the summons actually do outside of like their basic attacks.
Wait, what? Sorry, when did they buff?
What did you
catch
say?
that part.
What do they buff?
When do they buff?
If
do
you
you guys
have
do?
the relic effect, it's like
Oh,
power
yeah, I
up
do have
when
that one.
fighting with allies. I think that's
Yeah.
the effect.
Yeah.
There's a hippo in the river here we can kill too.
We can also grab both churches, I guess, so we don't have to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Here's the
We got like a super merchant too. Or that's what I call them, this like icon on the map. them all spinning. Beautiful.
Get to win. I'm gonna drop that that seal right here.
I appreciate that. I was standing in the distance like, I can't do shit unless I want to just punch them.
Oh yeah, have you seen the secret door, Mika?
I've heard about Ella told me, but I haven't like seen it. ever.
Yeah, I mean,
or
it's-
gotten the drop.
It's cool, but it like it's not really worth doing. I'm sure you've
didn't
heard
know
about
there
it,
was
Hayes, right?
I actually have not.
Really? Okay. Yeah, there's like a
Now
giga
you've got
rare
my
item
here.
that drops called the cord thread, I think it's called, and it opens a door in the middle of the river by like the castle, and behind the door is sacrificial twigs, the item that like prevents ruin loss when you die.
Yeah.
That's it, and the item is like a 1 out of like 10,000 drop rate or something terrible like that.
It's
Really?
So weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So weird. So where is the door? Can you ping it?
Yeah, it is, I believe, like right.
Oh, okay. I thought it was in the coast.
Nope. Yeah, it's in
I,
the,
like,
the
provided
middle river.
false information.
It blends in
This
pretty
overkill
pretty
here.
well though. Like it's really easy to miss.
Oh, my favorite ever kill boss.
Yeah, these kind of suck. They're the one with the spear. They're really fun to carry. Cause they have like a rhythm to them when they jump.
Yeah, they just never stop attacking those ones.
In solos, it's always the caster that kills me. So I've just started targeting him first because otherwise he'll just snipe me from halfway across the thing.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
do a lot of damage.
I think the circle's going to be up in the corner again, so that
Yeah.
should be a pretty nice path to get to everything there.
You're absolutely right. Damn. Dang quick.
Yeah, you
Can't
might not want to
see.
level up. Because we could go to this merchant.
I totally just leveled
Okay.
up.
I did not.
That's okay.
What do you guys usually buy at the merchant? Because when you're solo, it's easy. You buy the grace.
Yeah, I normally
Usually
get
just passives.
the talismans are good. The ritual sword talisman,
Oh.
and I guess like Dragon Crest shield is good too.
I got an extra pouch. That is what I have to show for that leftover runage there.
Okay, I bought a bunch of stuff. I went shopping.
Probably should have bought an item pouch. Yeah,
So what
he
do you
does
guys
have
think is the best
unlimited.
character for solo?
I would
I
say
think Iron Eye is just like Iron Eye and Raider both are just
Yeah.
like insanely OP.
I think Raider is easier if you want to just like brute force the boss down. Like Iron Eye, you can still die like really easily.
Yeah.
I mean the
So
mark
easy to
is
get to
good,
50
but
with them, though.
you die so fast.
My favorite is Wilder because that's my favorite character, I guess.
Yeah,
But
Wilder's
Wilder.
sick.
Iron Knight is really good.
John
Sorry?
Nightreign.
Oh, are you guys doing the Everjail?
Yeah.
I guess. I'm gonna. Oh,
I'm gonna get there when you guys. And I'm here to help.
You did great,
Thank
Dis.
you.
Thank
did
you.
great.
Wow.
Thank you.
I still have one key. I don't know if we have time to do any on the way because the other one's on the opposite side of the map. Yeah.
We could if we take the tree.
Yeah, that's true.
Go
Do
to
you
the
have
tree
the
to
keys
our
left?
right.
Bird Highway. I do not have anything like that. I figured I could buy one, but I didn't think it was worth it.
They're only
We have so
1,000
many.
each, so and that
Maybe
merchant
take the
sells
tree and just
infinite.
do this
as well.
one here and then head to the city.
Sounds good. I wish it was clearer which one you had out, like which Pokemon you had chosen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be nice if there was like a highlight or something that showed like over its portrait.
Yeah, yeah,
That
for
would be
sure.
cool.
Because sometimes I'm like, wait, do I have mine out or not? And then I like look around and like, oh, there she is. You know.
I'm not really a big fan of the animations that Revenant and Recluse have for their character skills either, because sometimes it like messes with being able to drink your flask. And like the transition animation between like putting away the harp or like
I'm gonna ult
selecting
first.
the element or whatever, it's super weird. I don't know how many times I've died because I won't drink the goddamn flask.
Yeah, you get like no status build up with Revenant ult. It's actually
Yeah, it's
super
crazy
nice.
good.
All right, yeah, we can do the tree. Do we want to just skip the bosses here and just go straight for the tree?
Kill the DTS by the tree. Surely that
Right.
will be quick, right?
Surely. I mean, we
do
do have a.
you have a
pretty
spell
big
now,
map.
Mika? You have the sling?
Yeah, I guess I have the sling. I don't know how good it is, but
Maybe we shouldn't.
I've got black.
I haven't really gotten a lot of good drops.
Yeah, no, me neither. Honestly, our Fredericks are kind of like stun locking them though. Oh. Oh, our Fredericks are dead.
Rip Frederick.
Sebastian time.
Go, Sebastian. I choose you. If only we had our ults.
Out of mana.
Is there a restore FP here? Is there in the flowers or something?
There's any flowers over here.
Or Sebastian just yelling.
He can't move. He's angry.
Pretty nice seal.
Treeing.
Will you take the tree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have one key, you said? Oh, yeah, I didn't realize I was muted. You have one key, you said, Hazeblade?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay. I should have bought a... Should have bought a key at the merchant back there. And I probably should get a pouch too.
Coming.
Frederick's ready.
All right, there we go. Oh, he doesn't even stand a chance. I almost feel bad for him.
Well, I don't.
Even ulted for him.
Okay, that's a bit much.
We want to go in this mine, potentially, right next to us.
I have a purple seal, but if you need to upgrade, we can definitely.
Yeah, I don't have... Hopefully it's not too far away.
And we can just come out the other side and then just head down to the city from there.
We're going back then, I guess.
Yeah,
We could take the bird over here.
Yeah, that's
over
a good
here.
idea.
Oh yeah, true. We did 5 Everjails. It's not bad. Key down there? Key.
Saw this event pop up.
This part of the route is new, though.
We could go up here.
Yeah, I definitely need to spend more time in this city because I don't know half of the shit that's on this side.
I mean, there's not much until you get to this part.
Yeah.
Honestly, the best thing you can do is just take whatever fits you the best, or whichever one you know.
Yeah, I can show them the chest after we kill Estelle.
Let's go, Frederick! Oh god.
Oh, Frederick.
No.
Go, Sebastian. Oh shit, hey.
Okay, Lane's access wave is very addicting and makes me very vulnerable.
So much easier to grieve when you're playing co-op. Lasers!
Been a long fight.
Leave no man behind.
If you die here, it's so bad in the city, actually.
Yeah.
Crazy. Alright, I can show you guys the chest I was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this one. Yeah.
No, not this one.
Or no, not this one. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, look at the secret chest, dude.
Yeah, the secret.
Wow, it's so hidden.
Yeah. No.
Oh, can we go to the dupe one? By the way, I have a cool weapon. I would like to dual wield it.
Yeah. We should have time to do both, hopefully. We can go to the dupe first, though.
I mean, no, whichever. Like, I'd rather see the other one, to be honest. But
Okay, here, we'll go left.
I did not jump.
Did you
I didn't
miss?
see the difference.
Row. The
Yeah, I'm
Royal
good.
Revenant, right? Down by you.
Oh yeah, but it's okay. We can. I'm here.
Okay, yeah, come jump down here. And then
Oh,
face
wow.
like northeast and jump. And if down here, kill this guy. There's a chest right here.
Oh, that's cool.
And you get like a legendary pretty often from it. It's not guaranteed. You might
Wait,
be
where
able to
did you
nuke down the Dragon Man. Down to try.
I'll ult.
I ulted right as you said.
Oops.
That's all.
We should probably call it though. So.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm down then though. Thank you.
Did either of you get a legendary from Estelle?
No.
Sorry? Oh, yeah, I got one.
Nice.
But I got the whip. I wanted to dual wield it. That would have been cool.
Yeah. I got the winged great horn.
And which one did you get? Oh, the scythe?
The great horn. It's like an axe.
Oh,
that
okay.
It's like DR production.
Right.
Gonna heal us, Hayes. Trust.
Oh, huge.
Oh, you're dead. Oh, no. Never mind. Thought you were gonna fall in the hole when you jumped
You
over.
know what? I thought I was too. I always forget that that's there. Oh, man. Got to keep the audience on the edge of their seats, you know.
True. Yeah, every time I fail, it's because I'm trying to create cinema.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, didn't we just fight that?
I'm gonna ult.
I'm gonna ult.
Damn, he's got 4 stacks of damage reduction.
Yeah.
Like, you know, DR reduction, I guess is what to say. Get 4 stacks, that's crazy.
I don't know if I buy the physics or not.
Holy smokes, the passive on this seal is 60% DR on successive attacks. That's crazy.
Does that work for magic?
No, it has to be melee. Successful attacks does work for bow and magic, but yeah, successive unfortunately is only melee.
Do you need any of those?
I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you though.
So apparently you can dupe like the wending graces or
I
something.
think you can dupe
didn't know-
anything. You just have to pick it
Really?
up at the same time. I've never done it before. though.
I saw
never
Nate
done
with
it.
like 5 Wending Graces, and I was like, how
Oh.
the fuck did you get that? And I assumed that that was how he did it, but yeah.
Little cheater.
he was doing a level 1 run, and I was like, just dies
Yeah, 5
like
is
6
I don't. Is that
times.
even possible unless you have like a crazy luck?
Mm,
It's hard.
You
But,
could get
I mean, most
5.
of the
if you got them as like drops.
Yeah, but like how
Yeah.
lucky do you gotta be to get?
Yeah, very
multiple
lucky, I
drops.
think. I mean, you
Yeah,
can
and
get
you get-
3 guaranteed at least if you get like the special merchant because he has an extra
yeah.
one.
Plus you get the free one. Plus if you get the dupe.
Time to whip the horse. Did you just kill my Frederick?
Oh, I did not mean to do that shot. Oh, that's gonna hit me. No! I got him. That's like a true, it like true combos with that move. Dude, every time, oh my god, every time he does that fucking move, I just miss because of it.
Oops. I might have died. Thank you. Stop copying me.
He's on me.
Trust me, I'm not trying to.
Wait, what does that mean?
Oh my god, I'm so bad.
Oh yeah. Now I want to copy you.
I've almost got my ult. Do you guys almost have your ults up, by the way?
I have mine, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I
I'm
have
gonna
mine.
ult this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not playing this character, so I forget the summon.
No, it's all good. That's I mean that's why we're doing triple Revenant, is to make it a little harder.
I can ult. I'm gonna do
Yeah,
it.
you can ult. Oh, here we go again. You guys have flasks left or no?
No, I just ran out.
Nope.
Did put a warming stone down.
These are beautiful.
Oh, that hit me.
Oh shit.
Bro.
He's on me if you want to get dissed.
Yeah, I'll get him.
Wow, cool.
Oh. He's fighting Frederick, thank god.
Let's go, Frederick.
Yeah, this might be hard rest, to be honest.
Yeah. He might not want to go for it. We can summon. You can summon Sebastian on Haze, and it might start rezzing him.
Oh, I just died myself. God damn it.
Okay, Sebastian's actually cooking on me right now. Never mind.
Not
He's
for long.
dead.
How long did it hold?
It's a while away, but I can try to survive.
Oh, what happened to my Helen?
I'm gonna try my best to survive here.
We got the God Gamer here, so I mean, no problem.
Yeah, he's gonna solo it. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, I feel like we're jinxing it. Like, it would be funny if he died exactly when he said that and there was a big move. I also have a wending race.
Oh yeah, and we have a stealth, so
It's not good.
I mean, don't throw this. Like,
somehow I'm still missing.
We're making our way to you.
We're almost there. Oh, Helen.
I can't wait to see Helen get one shot.
Yeah.
Front row seats. Oh, two shots.
There we go.
Excuse me.
How am I supposed to resurrect you guys if I use the wending race? Wait, great. I guess this one will have two.
I think does it get not Stella first? Or Stella first?
Does they react to resurrect all team members?
I'm gonna ult. I got it.
I think so.
Okay, easy.
I'm gonna aromatic us too. Right?
Yeah.
Oh shit, he's doing the AoE. Oh, come on.
Sebastian's rise up.
Oh my god. Hey, if we go close, I have a heal.
Oh, shit. Do you have your
Oh
ult?
no. Not very soon.
Okay,
I don't
nice,
know.
nice.
I
Well,
think
we
I
have
can
a
survive.
stealth. We have a stealth, so just try to stay alive.
This is fine.
Oh yeah, I'll move towards Sebastian. Sebastian could actually res me here. Oh, he did.
Oh shit,
Nice.
it worked.
Oh, amazing.
I guess I can work on you guys. I don't. Actually, I'm just gonna attack the boss. You almost have res, right, Mika?
Wait, I have it now. Do I need
You
to be
have it?
close or?
Okay. I think you could
Just in
use
case.
it to get Haze up.
Aimed on poor Frederick.
This is a nice attack.
Oh god. No. I just realized I have a very nice healing.
All right, if you guys want to summon, I can ult. How many
Alright, I
times have
summoned
we done this attack?
He is obsessed with this skill right now. He just loves me. I don't know what it is.
I think this is the best skin for Revenant. Woo!
Yeah,
That was a
This is
hard-fought battle.
yeah, I did a whole lot of nothing.
That was great.
Nice job, guys.
When I did this with Revenant on solo, I literally had the freaking black knife, and every single weapon art hit him for like 20% of his health. I nuked the shit out of him.
That was awesome.
It's
Yeah,
actually
we
not
still
a
had
bad
2
one.
rests.
Nice.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
we had a lot of extra supplies still. That was, you know, despite going down a lot, it was fine.
Yeah, we didn't even use the Stel res, so
Yeah,
that was good.
definitely.
That's the nice thing about the Revenants is like you just cycle alts and just get everybody up, even if they're 3 bars.
Yeah. Wait, if you summon Sebastian, he's actually so good at rezzing. Like,
Yeah, that's true.
He was going to town on me for a while.
yeah, well, you had 3 bars, and I summoned Sebastian to help me res you, and I actually got it, like, pretty quickly. It helped a lot.
Yeah, that was nice.
Do you want to do... I have time for, like, one more, but if you want to call it here, Mika, good
I
too.
could do like oh well, I don't know if Hayes wants to do that.
Do what?
But I
you
was
doing?
thinking like, imagine if we did 3 Revenant as well. It's like, I can do whatever.
Wait, 3
Yeah,
3 Revenants?
Oh no, sorry. I mean, Recluse.
Recluse.
Oh,
Holy
yeah,
shit,
I'm
It's like
down.
so
the,
hot.
the 2 characters he hates.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I like collabing with people more than I care about who I play. So
Yeah, maybe you played enough of. Maybe it's good. You'll get to play something you don't usually play.
well, I was
I'm
just
down.
telling my chat the other day. I was like, you know, maybe it's actually better for me to play the classes that I hate, so that like maybe I'll hate them less when I get better at them. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yay.
All right, I've got the darkness skin on.
All right, I'll switch.
Ah, okay.
Like
look,
a
I
chain.
can
gonna-
be, I can be the Emerald Herald.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I have the one without the hat. I think that's nice.
Yeah, that's a good
What
one.
is it called? It's really nice.
Let me double check my relics here. Let me know what I did last time. Obviously, Evergel. Oh yeah, the OP freaking green stone from the shop too is really nice for her.
Oh yeah, do you
Oh,
have
wait,
that
which
one,
one?
Mika? It's
No.
it's from the new shop. It's max FP up with 3+ stabs, and also max FP after you open the Sorcerer's Rise.
Okay, wait. I'll buy it. Is it green? You said?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
green. Have you done all the Remembrance quests as well, by the way?
Yes.
Okay,
But not for Duchess. Huh? I haven't even done a single one for her.
gotcha. Yeah, I'm using that green stone, the Evergel one, and then the bone-like stone.
I'm using the Vestige of Night. I thought about using the Bone-like Stone. In solo, I was like thinking that maybe Terra Magica is better, but then in practice, you have to leave all the time because they just run you down out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
Triple Recluse is kind of insane because when one person ults, you know, you all just get mana back and health back. So
Yeah.
you just have like infinite mana.
I like that new relic too, because by the time you hit level 15, your FP bar is just stretching halfway across the screen.
Yeah.
It basically becomes to the point where like anything that like saves FP, like spell FP cost reduction, like none of that even matters anymore because you just have so much.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick and then I'll be ready.
Bone like I was supposed to have, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm using. I'm using like the Remembrance Chalice with the Bone Stone and then the 2 shop
The
ones.
Remembrance Chalice. It's the Recluse Chalice, I guess.
Yeah, the one with
So
the white.
that's 1 yellow, 1 green, and 1 white.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you use for the yellow?
The Everjail one,
Right.
and then the green is the other one.
Hold on.
FP while having 3 stabs equipped is just 10 mind. Yeah, but 10 mind is a lot. And yeah, it's 18%. Like, I don't know. It's a really good relic.
And then the bone like stone, and then the new one that's green.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, thank you. All right, cool. Right, I can't find like when there's like so many items, I can't see anything.
Yeah, the relic screen it gets really overwhelming when you start having so many. Yeah, but the thing is when you're spamming your cocktail, you're not doing damage. Like you do get stamina back when you use your cocktail, so you can use it sometimes without really without it being detrimental, but the extra FP is nice because it makes your Starlight shards more effective as well because of their percentage-based restores.
Okay.
What are my relics? It's almost like that's what we've been talking about the past few minutes.
Let's go.
The thing is, you don't, as Recluse, you don't really have to care about the like stains or whatever. Yo, Girthy Onion, thank you for the Prime sub.
I keep forgetting to skip. Sorry, I kind of like the music in the
Yeah,
intro.
I watched the intro a decent bit.
Yeah.
Very mesmerizing.
It's nice seeing what your teammates' names are as well.
Yeah,
Before
true.
you start.
It's a little present, like they present themselves. What's up? My name is. Where's the bitches at?
Guess we could do this fort first and then just kind of make our way south.
Yeah, we've
Sounds
had the
good.
same spawn every run so far.
Oh lord. Whoops. I ran in too hard.
Yeah, I've had that happen a few times. Oh, I'm dead too.
Case in point.
You don't need to die just to make me feel better. I'm gonna run to the staves first.
you guys know about the upper chest in this place?
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I learned about that a
Just
little
found out
while.
about these like a week ago.
Sorry, I grabbed it. Do you need a save?
No, it's okay.
Okay. I'm gonna check if there's a stone sword key. Ah.
Nice.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, Mika, if you didn't know, Mika, this like
Yeah?
platform right here, you can climb this, and there's another chest up here.
Oh, look at that. What could be in there? Like, is it good for a specific thing?
I believe it's the same loot table as the chest that's like on the top
Oh.
there. I've definitely gotten stone sword keys in them before, so
Okay.
I think it might be a bit less likely for stone sword key, but it's definitely still decent.
yeah. Yeah, all of the forts have it. Even like the ones where you go into the like basement entrance. There's another like in the corner of the thing. Of the roof. I got bonked.
It happens to the best of us. Oh, shit.
no.
Oh yeah, it's a bit better. Oh, nice. Good idea.
Good stuff.
It's a bit better to res with like the arc ability as well. The big
Oh,
wave
nice.
one.
Yeah.
We could go
So-
this way and possibly
Yeah, we take
check.
the little highway.
Yeah, we could take the bird.
The highway. Yeah, there's a boss next to
bird highway.
the tree too.
The eagles are coming. That's from Lord of the Rings. Laugh.
I've watched Lord of the Rings so many times. Not recently though.
Yeah. I showed Ella the extended edition for the first time.
Oh really? Thank-
Yeah.
The extra 15 minutes of walking.
I'm an old. I really need some better spells though. My magic sucks.
Got one stone breath. Cool. That's weird. I like went to take up the hawk, but then my character started walking forward, and instead of
Oh, yeah.
getting on the hawk, I fell off the cliff.
Yeah,
That
I've had
happens
that-
to me too sometimes.
Yeah, that's really good.
It's the first time I've ever seen that.
I got kind of pissed. It happened to me once when I was like really stressed out in a solo mission. The guy just walks off, and you're like, what?
I saw somebody. He did that at the tree at the crater, and it like made him fall off into the lava pit. Like
That's
fell
horrible.
straight
Oh my
down
god, that
his death. Yeah.
sucks.
There's a demi-human queen right here too.
I've got 2 keys as well, so we stack. Got one. So.
Wait, what did you guys do right before this?
What do you mean? Like before we came to the jail?
Yeah, before you take the birds.
Killed the horse Knight's
Yeah.
Cavalry, right?
Okay, nothing between that. 'cause
I
was
stopped
confused.
at one of the churches and grabbed like a stones for two. I jumped off
Oh. I was wondering why I was first. Like if I missed
Oh
something.
yeah.
We could go to the tower and then cut across the west.
Yeah. And maybe kill the rune, do the rune. I mean, it's right here. Probably something
Receiver
easy.
Burial watchdogs.
Oh yeah.
Hate them.
Oh god, I hate them so much.
Yeah.
There was
not-
one
Yeah, it
time
is.
when I was solo
It
and I
is.
got 3 of them. Like 3.
Yep. I'm gonna pass on that.
Yeah, no thanks. Can you guys tell me what is the solution to this one? Because I have
one's,
only done a few.
This one's
Oh,
the
this is
water.
like a
You see it
reflection in the
reflection.
water.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
You
just
gotta
jump
hit the
in.
wall. One of them can be a candle, which is so messed up. It's like see,
inside, right?
See where I'm standing, Mika? You look down.
Yes, I see.
Yeah, there's
This
that
could be-
candle can be off, and you have to hit it on the wall.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yeah. I don't know if I should have taken sorceries. I kind of want.
Is anyone in Shattering-
Mm-hmm. I spent like 5 hours just like going into expeditions, learning the solutions for them all. All the different mage towers.
Oh, that's good. Does anyone need like Shattering Crystal?
I would take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Thank you.
Still need one more staff.
I love Shattering Crystal.
Ow. These are not as fun if you're not like a terror character or a wilder.
Yeah.
Because the way they catch you when you're trying to heal. Annoying.
Do we want to hit the mine or?
Could do this invader camp.
Sure.
Sure.
I never do these invader camps, but we can. Well, I mean, it's this boss will die super easy at least.
That's true.
It's Iron Eye and they're coming in right now. Careful. Oh, that Iron Eye hits real hard. Holy shit.
Oh wow, that sucks.
Yeah, just let
Ow.
the guy kill him.
You have old haze? I'm gonna need a res.
Almost. It's at like 99. All right, here we go. I got it.
Thank you.
Oh my god, Ironhide sucks. Oh, he got me.
Yeah, he hits like a truck.
I'll go a little bit closer.
Nice.
Sweet, good job.
Nice. Good recovery. Good stuff.
Can drop improved charged sorceries here. If anybody wants.
Oh yeah, I would love that. Thank you.
Have you guys seen the like special mages tower?
Yeah.
That can spawn.
Oh, yeah, I have seen that. I'm confused about them.
I saw it once, but it had like 3. You have to do 3 puzzles to solve it.
Yeah.
I think one time when I did it, it said like, a player from another world has unlocked your tower or something.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
really weird.
Yeah, they're super, super rare. I've when I was writing the guide, I wrote like all the different solutions for them for IGN, and it took me like over an hour of just going in, not seeing it, and quitting out to finally get one to spawn. It took forever. I'm pretty sure they're like 1% chance or something, like crazy rare.
Yeah. I've also rarely seen the like Frenzy Flame tower that can spawn in.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it once.
I've only gotten that one when I needed it. Like,
Dang. Maybe it's more likely during the Libra expedition.
I think so, for sure. That's the only time I've ever gotten it. Oh no, is that a finger?
I think we have the Royal Revenant. That's right.
Yeah, possible.
Nah, this one's centipede.
Oh, I like that. I don't like that you don't get anything for killing the tails or the body.
Yeah.
Kind of lame. I want it to drop like a talisman or something. Like it does in Dark Souls 1.
I mean, Gaping drops one too, so I feel like this one should.
Yeah.
This Naginata's kind of crazy. It's got lightning and bleed on it. Kind of perfect for the boss.
Nice.
Oh, what was it? Naganata?
Yeah, Naginata.
Cool.
Do we want to hit this lightning camp or just go straight to the church?
We could do it. I don't know if we're more likely to get lightning spells though. That even.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know if you get staves or seals from them. I mean, I would assume it's a chance that you can, but...
Yeah, I think you can.
I got a whole lot of shit.
All right.
What RE game are you playing later, Dist?
I'm not sure. Probably. I think I'm gonna do RE7 or RE8.
Nice.
Yeah.
We gotta get you in on Outbreak, buddy.
Yeah. Outbreak seems cool.
Have
I
you
want
played
to
it
play
all?
with like a group of people who have never played it before.
Ah.
Have you heard of Outbreak before, Mika?
No, what is that?
It's like a weird. It's an old Resident Evil game from like 2003, but it's like multiplayer. You can play with up to 4 people.
Oh.
And-
Yeah, it was way ahead of its time. It came out back
Oh
in
my-
the PS2 modem era.
Oh.
So like nobody had the hardware, so the online
Oh,
server
okay.
was super underpopulated. So it's all
So it went
run
under
by
the radar?
What's that?
So it went under the radar?
Oh yeah, it was very ahead of its time, and with like RE9 getting announced and stuff, the Outbreak servers are like overwhelmed right now.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe I should try it.
Yeah, it's real fun. If you like Resident Evil games, it's a very iconic Resident Evil experience, except you have way less inventory space and you have to depend on 3 other people to survive.
Oh shit, this sucks.
Oh, he's close at least.
Oh, it's close.
Yeah,
Wow.
true. How much runes do you guys have? Does anyone have 35k?
I got 42.
No.
Okay.
Oh. I couldn't even do it in day 1 right now.
Don't forget your free upgrades from him after we.
Yeah. I mean, we could even kill him after we do it too. After we take his
No.
deal.
I guess we could try.
We just make sure we all get a deal first and stuff.
All right. You know what? Enhanced armament. Let's see what we get. Oh, of course it's shit. I swear the enhanced armaments are just a scam.
It's
All right, let's
Isn't
do it.
his entire thing that he's kind of a scam?
foolish.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of true. Wait, did he?
He's like, nope. Is he as hard as a normal? No, he's not. Definitely not. I haven't really tried.
He does
killing
hit hard.
Holy, yep. Thanks. Oh my god, I didn't even see that.
Give all of this.
I think you ulted when the rest name. Good job though.
Hey, I got my 35k back.
Oh, you did? That's
Yeah.
funny.
Wow, he dropped a bunch of garbage.
Does anyone want the richer sword talisman?
I got 2 talismans.
I still have a stone sword key.
Nice. Yeah, I've got one too. Guess we only need one though.
I don't even have 3 staves yet. I'm ready for my FP bar to stretch.
Oh my god, I hate this boss.
We're all ranged, so it should be a bit.
Yeah, so annoying. And every time you play with randoms, they always die of the goo because they always underestimate it.
It does so much damage.
Yeah.
Damn, legendary.
Yeah, it's not a very good one.
Is it? Whoa.
Hair.
Oh, this is really. Alright, well, the good news is I actually do have a weapon.
Oh god, these guys.
I'm breaking.
That was kind of cool. I got the that dragon. Oh my god, what's his name? The dragon in
Cragblade?
time space. It's
You got
called
the
the
Avers, too.
Cragblade. Yeah.
Nice.
We ready to
Alright.
go to the city?
I think we just rush to the city, yeah. Kind of have to
Yep.
book it.
Alright, I'll just get rid of the stone sword key.
Game sound is too high, can barely hear the others. Okay, well, I've been playing for 3 hours and you're the first person to say that, but... Or maybe you aren't, and it's
Definitely
the
not
first...
my
You're the
best,
first person I've noticed say that.
Recluse drops ever. When I took the weapon from the demon, it gave me Vike's War Spear. Like, really not
Whoa.
conducive to...
Yeah, that's a cool weapon though.
It is
Very
cool.
rare.
It is cool, yeah.
If there's
It's not
something wrong with the
exactly great
audio,
for-
I'm
Yeah.
I'm glad to fix it. I
Are
can
we gonna
turn
go
them
through the
up.
sewer?
Just when it's only one guy saying
I
it.
can go
like,
wherever. Oh my god, that was such a quick way to the sewer. I always like, where is it? Walk around in circles.
Yeah, I got lost my first few times here. It takes a little bit to like see the opening and then commit it to memory. I ran around a few times.
Yeah.
I do think this way is longer though than the other way that we took.
Oh, the other way is crazy fast.
Yeah, for sure. But this way also gets you a little closer to the dupe, so
Yeah.
True. So I can do my shitty staffs. Actually, I could, if anyone wants the Prince of Death staff, I do have that.
I'm a dog. What? I just woke up!
damn.
Skill issue.
Oh, that was weird. Okay. Yes. Yeah, let's just go to Estelle ASAP.
Okay. Is her name actually, or is the name actually Estelle?
I don't know. Good question. Probably.
Astel. That's what I call him.
Agreed.
Estelle sounds more fancy though. I think the Swedish like a baby of one of the monarchs or one of the monarch family, whatever. It's called Estelle, so it sounds very royal to me.
Man, this is so much faster
And also
already.
chips. Potato chips.
Well, we get something good here we can do. Nice.
That was quick AF.
Yeah,
Wait,
compared to the Revenant run, that was like night and day.
Oh god, both of my
I
have
got
two
no
legendary
brains
options
to
and they
get
both suck. I got
Oh.
the lion, great bow, and the braid.
If you need the 3 stabs, I dropped my stab for you.
I got the Acer Glintstone staff. Is that good?
Yeah.
Is that the
Does it have
Commodore
a-
one? I think.
That's the Comet Azure and Shattering Crystal.
Yeah, Shattering Crystal, I think is like one of the best spells. It's so
Don't forget
good.
to grab the chest. Are we gonna try to dupe, or what's the game plan here?
I don't know. I don't really.
If anyone wants any of my staffs, then I can keep them.
I kind of want to dupe my Wing of Estelle because it's got +2 casting speed on it.
Oh, that's crazy.
How do I get out of here? Yes, how did you do that? Find that. Okay.
And I'm following you.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember how Disc showed us. I think it was down here. Yeah. Okay.
It was northeast, yeah?
Yeah. Okay, I found it. Disc, you little
Ooh.
loot goblin, you.
Packs of
Nice
Godric,
save.
bro.
Hand of Melania. Man, so many legendaries and they all suck, dude.
I don't think... Is there any legendary stabs, even?
Yeah, there is one of the, I think the one from...
Oh, yeah, the Karian.
Yeah, the Karian one. Okay, the shotgun gun does do a lot of damage. You're right.
It's... I don't know. It's, like, different compared to base health. I don't know why it's so strong.
That damage was insane. Oh, Stars of Ruin. Oh, this is pretty sick. But I want this one, too.
Oh, I'm gonna die. Shit. Yeah,
Oh, you got him?
yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool.
I bet.
Because I am already halfway away.
Man, I did not get a good kit this run.
I have a few things I could drop, honestly.
I mean, I have my 3 staves. It's just I'm using whichever.
Oh,
one
shit.
Of you, whichever one of you dropped the starting staff, I'm using that for my 3rd one.
It doesn't really matter what it is, right?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you get the ends, but yeah, it's just a little.
I can show you what I have after, because I'm not going to use all 3 of them.
Well, you're getting a buff for having 3, so.
Yeah, but I have more than...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we can trade, though. We could trade. You give me 1 staff, I give you 1 staff.
Okay. That seems good.
I was like, oh yeah, shit, I do need 3.
I don't have Shattering Crystal, but I do have Crystal Burst, which is pretty close. This dude's getting nuked.
Yeah. He's gonna die very, very fast. Nice. Alright, well I think we just use Shattering Crystal and we throw the Lightning Spear when we need to interrupt him or whatever.
Okay, I'll go ahead and drop the ones I don't need. You can pick if you want one.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know what's good, but I like those. So.
Oh yeah, you probably want to drop your helmet too.
Oh yeah. Thanks. Oh, I had a stone sword key. I forgot about it. Oopsie.
Up. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Who's the boss next week? Is it Augur?
It's a sentient pest, I believe.
Ah, Pest.
So a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
What? What do you mean? The fight just started.
Oh yeah. Oh, so close. I have
He was looking at Dist and then he turned to me after the wind up. I was like, man. Uh-oh. Oh, here we go.
Oh, the ult.
Nice. Oh, did you also?
Yeah, I just saw
I didn't want to take that damage.
it. You can dodge this bomb too, the nuke, whatever. If you know you're gonna
Yeah.
get hit.
It's pretty funny when you just dodge them. A little sidestep with Recluse and it's gone. Easy. Let's go.
That was so much easier than the Revenant run.
Yeah.
Now we do it all again with only level 1, right?
Oh god.
Gosh, level 1 Recluse would be a nightmare because of the fact that you have to use those 2 starting spells.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Wait, what is that? What do you mean with that?
So when you're level 1, you are kind of stuck with your starting weapon because the
Oh.
blue, purple, and legendaries
Right.
that you have to be a certain level. So
Yeah.
Unless
if
you get some white ones, I guess.
Yeah. If you found like a good white seal, it could work. But you also have no mana at all, which is kind of rough.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
Guardian is probably like the worst level 1 as well. So you can't even like guard counter, and you have no no
Yeah.
stamina.
it's funny because when you take Guardian from level 1 to 2, everything just doubles in that first level. Like
Yeah.
he goes from no health
Yeah.
to just like, what the heck is this?
Yeah. Yeah,
was a
sorry
great
my alerts are
match.
so loud.
Yeah, I had fun.
Yeah, GG. That was a good time.
Thanks guys for playing.
Yeah, for sure.
And hopefully maybe we can get Ella on board sometime.
Yeah, I mean he'll be done. I think he's finishing Death Stranding 2 today, anyways. So I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably gonna try out this new boss soon. I imagine.
Didn't he do
so.
that already?
Did he do this new one? I don't know if he did. He did.
Apparently he already finished DS2, according to my
Oh, he
chat.
finished Death Stranding 2 already. Oh, gotcha.
Damn, that's fast.
Yeah, I'm definitely down to play more. I'm kind of addicted to this game, so
Same.
yeah.
And it was great meeting you, Hayes, as well.
Yeah, you too, Mika.
I'm gonna go because I really need to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
So-
Have a
GGs.
good one, everybody. GG, guys.
Take care.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye. Why did I say it's much easier with Recluse than Revenant? Because it was. Recluse just has more, like, the spells that Recluse has are just insane. Like, all you need is Shattering Crystal, and you do so much damage. And it's not like Dark Drift Knight isn't even weak to magic, but it was still like shredding him. All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I know I said I was gonna do RE chat, but Larksa just asked me to do a run with her. So, I guess I'll do one more. Ugh, I told Larksa I would help her, okay? She hasn't fought the new boss yet. I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Okay. Bait and switch. No, no, no. Okay, listen, guys. I was gonna switch to Resident Evil. I was ready, okay? I was ready. Bro said 1 or 2, and I did 3. Okay, I did 3, and now I'm doing a 4th because Larksa asked me, alright?
Hello.
Hey.
Wanna queue up just 2 or do you have a third?
Salad, do you want to come join us? You're rusty as fuck. It's okay. I'll carry you, surely. The ego. I mean, I'm at. If you couldn't detect the slight sarcasm, Also, Ella is done with Death Stranding 2 now, so maybe we'll do like repo soon. I mean, I tried carrying the invisible man yesterday and I failed.
You sent invite? Thank you.
Salad's name.
So is the boss weak to lightning?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, Salad is going to join us. He hasn't played
Let's
in
go.
a while. So. Perfect. Hello, buddy.
Hello.
Minging.
Wedding?
The second I join.
Minging. A salad likes to say that.
I thought it's minging.
No, it's
It-
minging. No, no.
It's minging?
No, it's minging. Minge is not. No, it's not the right word.
Minging.
Minge means something entirely different.
Oh god.
We don't want to go into that.
I don't know my UK
Damn,
slang.
It's not so good. Don't worry about it.
Do a mapless run. Why?
Oh yeah, the double fucking iron eye. Let's go.
Oh gosh, double iron eye. Okay, I'm gonna go Revenant, chat.
Is that the
Honestly,
only
I
person
think-
I've played?
Revenant is kind of goated for rezzing, actually. You can summon the like skeleton man, and he'll help with rezzing pretty well.
Or see.
Oh shoot, I
I've
should
literally
have.
only played Iron Eye except once. So
Have you beat the new boss, like any of the new bosses, Salad, or no?
nope.
Gotcha.
I've just been called budget Nems. So fucked up. Can I be a budget hob?
Honestly, dude, we probably should have started with the crater, chat. Whatever. Dude, we get this spawn every game. Every single round today, it's been this fucking spawn. What the hell? Is this the only spawn you can get? Yikes. To the castle. So did you just like beat every boss once, Salad, and that was kind of it?
Yeah, I didn't really have anyone to play with, and solo was making me very annoyed, so.
Yeah, that's fair.
No one wants to play with the British guy.
Oh yeah, I have Resident Evil 6 downloaded now, Salad.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll play it tonight.
I'm so excited. I'm gonna be in bed, but I'm so excited. Which campaign are you gonna play first?
Can you choose? Is it not like a...
No, you can choose from any of the four.
Okay. Thought maybe it was like a progression kind of thing.
No, you used to not be able to pick Ada, but until you completed all of the other three, but they changed it up.
Oh.
I personally recommend Christopher first because it's my favorite.
I've heard Ada is, or sorry, Leon is pretty cool. It's kind of like
Yeah, I
a...
like
Leon's
Leon's.
is the most
More
horror
horror.
one.
Go to the Everjail here. Will I play with somebody? I don't know. Is RE6 a co-op game?
But it's my favorite. Mainly because it's the best run, but that's besides the point.
And maybe we'll play some RE6 today.
Oh,
Probably not.
no, it's probably Ari.
What?
Samantha.
I rolled!
That's minging, dude.
Fucking hate the horse.
Dude, this spell is gonna be so good actually. Because you can like chain it, the unbolt. This is actually such a good spell to get. It uses a lot of stamina though.
Fucker me to bleed is so simple.
To the church.
To the church.
Yeah, this is the exact same spawn and like everything. I think this is the exact same seed. God bless me.
Good
Every single
RNG.
run I did today was actually this same spawn.
Oh god.
Yeah. Great randomization from Soft.
Yeah, it always felt so samey.
Yeah.
But it's okay, it's just good practice for you, I guess.
We didn't get any lightning camps either. Sadly.
No. I do think it's a little silly that if you don't get that camp, you're at fault. Oh, you're not fault, it's not great. Crazy. The zone's coming. Here.
I'm gonna see if I can get a key over here. You guys can... I'm not actually sure where we should go.
I mean, that's right on the edge, I guess.
Yeah, sure. So how far up the volcano did you get? Or did you make it into like, or like how far did you get on that map, Larksa?
Well, Tuka died right away in the lava, so I went to grab him and then I died.
Oh, so you
And then
guys...
Dabson made it really close to the smoke, but he also got burned.
Yeah, you guys toasted yourselves.
Oh, like,
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, did not mean to ping that. I don't even know why I've got three in this
Vanish
account.
lights, or...
Honestly, we should stop going.
A bit funky.
I wonder what the best way to
Just a
play
little
this
blood.
seed is.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think the circle has always gone to the same spot here.
Can we just enhanced holster?
can't wait to see more different bosses. Was my Dark Souls 2 ones, man?
Or like Obvious Demon.
Yeah. Like, was Sin the Slumbering Dragon my favorite boss?
Mm-hmm.
Who could forget about Nishandu and Ilana?
If they put Ancient Dragon in the game.
The entire squad just wiped out in a single hit. I don't think I could deal with it. Is there any point in killing these big masses?
They drop weapons.
Yeah. Kill it. They dropped me a purple one, but then I never saw anything again. Taking damage restores FP.
Alright. Oh, there's a flower here.
Oh, there's one of those box ones.
Oh, nice.
So easy. Holy! What the fuck? Power of 2 night eyes. Night eyes? Yeah.
Do you want Eleonora's pole latest?
No.
Okay. I'm still using my gray bow.
So am I. I'm not seeing any.
Yeah.
We can go into like a into the mine. Or actually, we can go to the. There's like a really good merchant we can go to.
Oh really? Oh. What? It teleported you to it.
All right, so don't level up right away.
Okay.
Okay, just hold off. Gonna do this Everchail.
All rats.
Every time, man.
Alright, so yeah, don't level up.
I won't.
And we'll go over here.
Okay.
Then you could buy like
Over
a stone
everything
to upgrade.
Nice. Does any stone work on the white weapon?
You need a blue one, but then you can
blue
also
one,
buy a
blue.
purple one here, so you can get
Okay,
it to.
blue and purple.
Oh, can you?
Yeah, this is like a different type of merchant.
Oh.
Blue and purple. Oh, there's also stone sword here. Nice. I got it.
Nice. No, that's not what I wanted to do.
Oh, it is the city.
Oh, I never did sit there.
You wanna go to the church?
Yeah. Sorry, I was
Oh.
Good
buying
idea.
a billion things.
Do you buy a stone sword key?
Yeah, I have 2. There's a tree sentinel we could kill right here.
Oh yeah, I'll do it.
Oh, it's not iconic actually. I'm okay.
Dude, Unbolt is doing so much damage.
God, the iframes on this ult are insane.
Yeah.
Fuck 'em up. Yay!
A lot more Starlight Shards.
Oh, now it drops a good bow.
Yeah, I
Oh
just
my
got a purple
fucking
bow as
God.
well. I got
yeah,
a
same.
3-1.
Oh, wow, it's okay.
Minus like 20 something K.
Yeah, you guys can go to the church. I need to go buy. Actually, yeah. Yeah, just go to the church.
Use me wolves. But my ball has mighty shot. That's fantastic. Nice.
We could do this ever, Jail. We're gonna have to tank the swarm, but we
Yeah.
can do it.
Oh yeah. I'm coming.
Let's up the issue.
Let's go about this thing that just makes the mountain thing horrible.
Ah, fuck. Oh my God, this. Oh my. Ah, I forgot to drink.
Okay. Make sure to refill at the
Yep.
Yeah.
graves.
In too many instances where they've just forgot about it and then died.
Dude, I have like no health at all.
I'm pretty sure I survived a hit I shouldn't have because of lag then.
Yeah,
I was on 0 HP.
I had my ult on.
Oh, that explains, yeah. Is it gonna be?
Face.
Oh, fucking hate this guy.
Is it good to aim and shoot at this head here? Doesn't matter.
I thought the ad's gone for me.
I'm not sure if it matters if we hit him in the head or not.
I'm just trying to play.
Or should I do beat the...
I'm gonna ult. Should be okay now.
I love the targeting on this game. It's so good.
Dude, is my own bolt is like hitting the wrong thing.
Yay!
It's not. It wasn't hitting it.
Nearby blood loss. Ooh, that's actually good. I think has blood loss.
I got a pet rat.
Hell yeah. What do you do on day 2 of the city? Do you just bum rush it?
We can go there, do a little bit of stuff, and then go there.
Yeah, I never got to do it when I was playing. For some reason, I was just stuck on the rot one.
All right, guys. Lock in.
Yeah.
Huh? Bro.
Well, you guys are fighting the boss over there.
It went on there, and I got smacked
Are
by it.
we not
Oh,
supposed to
it's
grab
fine.
them?
It's fine.
Oh, I see. There's 2 of them. I understand now.
I'm gonna clear the trash.
What's this one? Draconic one. Can Draconic be bled?
Yeah.
Revive, Every time I'm doing my attack, I swear. Every time there's a fireball. Fuck him up. Everyone's down.
Alright, let's take the tree.
Let's do it. Where are we dropping?
We could do the Everjail here real quick. If you want.
Right.
Yeah. You get the church as well.
Yeah.
Fucking hate football.
The Beastly Brigade?
It's so bad for I and I.
I'm stunning them.
This one's dead.
What?
And then this, I guess.
Yep, we can jump up to the church. And we can go over here to the tree.
There's a little close.
Ride that.
Oh my fucking god! The jump spring didn't carry me far enough.
Did you miss it?
Yeah.
I only just about got it, to be fair.
Oh. Ay, ay, ay.
Ooh, almost.
Oh, the circle.
Run, Loxa!
Yeah, you're gonna want to use that like spirit spring to jump. Well, you don't have to use it actually. But yeah, just use the tree.
Oh look, it's a madness camp that never has anything madness in it.
Yeah, you can get madness resist.
Charu. The boluses.
Is that yeah? The boluses are like permanent buffs if you
Oh really?
yeah, if you eat them.
I never knew. I must have quit before that tech was found.
What's up, K-Witty?
What stupid things appear in this city?
What the hell is that scarab?
On the way.
We're so close.
We can go this way. I'll
Is this
wait
how I
for
felt when you
Larson.
played Outbreak with Bork?
Come on, Larksa.
Yeah,
You got this, buddy.
I'm sprinting. I'm glad we do city because now I know, like when I play with people, how to go through here.
There's a few different ways you can go through. I think this might be the fastest way. I'm not 100% sure though.
He's cyberbullied by Estelle. Ow! What?
Alright. And it's always the same path?
There's like 3 different paths you can take. I should have jumped here.
Oh, stop hitting me!
Are you okay, Demanda?
No! Keep going for me, I'm just gonna play the game.
No!
Stupid boss.
Alright. Let's just go kill Estelle right away.
Hell yeah.
Fuck him up.
Hey, this guy. I just realised I can't even put Ancient
Oh,
Dragon
dang
in there. They've already got a dragon cold in the dragon.
Ow. Nice.
Holy!
Fuck him up.
Insane fire damage.
Oh, legendary. Let's go. Oh, never mind. It's nothing I can use.
Dragon King's Cragblade.
There you go.
I've never used it. What's it special?
Make sure to grab the chest over here.
Ooh.
Oh, I had not
I don't
noticed
think I
the
did
thing.
last time. Oh no. Oh. What does that do?
It gives you a free res.
Oh,
It actually gave me 2 achievements, thank you.
damn.
Oh, damn.
The chest I bought, I can get legendaries apparently.
There's a chest, you said?
Yeah, that gives legendaries.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it does.
We probably want to try to kill some bosses though.
Do it.
We've got pretty good weapons anyways, right?
Yeah.
Well, as good as they can be.
Alright, follow me.
Okay.
Tuned. Oh, this is very long.
We go to tree after?
What's up?
We go to tree after?
No, we can go to another boss. Just follow me.
Okay. Alright.
There's like one more
Follow.
boss.
Alright.
This Malekith's blade thing still feels like it has a ton of stagger. But it's not going to be any use against the boss.
Yeah, it does like holy damage as well, right?
I have no idea. I don't look at things when I pick them up.
Big damage. Okay, I
Oh,
just
one of you guys are gonna want to grab this.
oh shit, okay.
Gonna heal.
Go in. Oh yeah, I have one last one. I'm gonna go.
Run.
Run, Ethan. Run.
Oh, that's a good talisman.
Sorry, I took it.
She did you should snaffled that up real quick. God damn.
I'm an opportunist.
Didn't even get to see it. Yeah, Disc, why aren't you doing the 3 iron eye?
I could have. I haven't played him in a while, to be fair. Alright, I'm gonna put down a healing stone for us.
But
What the hell's that over there? Oh, it's another player. Dude, you someone scared the shit out of me. Is that everyone? That's a big boy.
I'm gonna try to bleed this guy.
Oh.
feel like the dragon fire spells just don't have like anything at all. They're just so bad. They use so much mana too.
Crash. Nice.
I don't know if poise is gonna do anything. All right. Nice. Oh yeah.
Might be the first time I've been level 15 going into the boss.
What the hell? I'm still level 13. Oh, now I'm 15.
Do you want some starlight shards, Dis?
Yes.
I am broke.
How do I drop these things?
Just square. Thank you.
I got some warming stones.
Nice. I think we just want to use own bolt for this.
What would be better, the black bow or the weaker bow with the poison? They're both purple.
Probably just the normal one.
The black bow?
Yeah, I mean, you could like use the poison one until you proc it and then switch. Owned bolts will be able to hit this guy like guaranteed.
Anything we need to look out for in the enhanced dark drift?
Probably everything.
Everything.
We're so cooked.
Okay, okay,
I'm gonna bubble us. Here, stand on me.
okay.
There you go.
Thank you. Damn, we already got that hand out.
I've got a pretty good build, and you guys are always hitting him, so...
Right. And I can keep trying to keep this evil full.
Yeah, we're like cooking him.
Yeah, I think being able to constantly have this thing up is probably pretty good. Ah! Stop! Listen. You went for me 3 times in a row. Bullshit.
I'm gonna go try to get Sal.
Yeah.
He's going into the air doing some shit. Why me? Answer.
No, please, not me, not me.
Yeah, every time it's me, I can see him. You know what? Fucking.
Jesus Christ.
Just why me? I'm just a little guy. I'm just Oh god. It's because I'm British.
He's going like
No!
crazy.
Stop!
Stop. Minging.
Nice! Ah, nah.
What is this shite? Dog water.
No. Dog was a good one, though. I've had enough. I'm running away putting the fucking warming stove down. I've had enough of this.
Man, he's like not targeting me at all.
I know! Believe you me, he's still going for me! Now,
Wow, you dodged that. Nice. You guys have health pots left or no?
No, but I have my ult.
Okay.
I was about to ult. Oh, I want to ult him so badly.
oh, okay. You're gonna go to look up.
Oh, I thought I had the power of red. Okay, you guys got this. Fall to the corner.
Got your lot, so. What? What is that tactical nuke? I was nowhere near him.
I should just. Get him, guys.
Get it in.
I'm shooting. He's coming to me! It's okay. I'm sorry. You guys got it. You guys got it.
I'm nuking. Oh, come on.
Yeah, nuke him.
That's on you, Sal.
Nice. Good job.
He's still going for me. Fuck off.
It's okay. Just focus the boss. You guys are so close. Wait, why am I back?
Is he dead?
Oh! Nice, good job.
I'm not gonna lie, I spent a good 20 seconds trying to figure out how
Nice,
to throw the
jeez.
stupid warming stone down. I forgot the button. Oh yeah, you're welcome from the carry, you know.
Nice run.
When are they gonna do like 2 bosses for the enhance?
2 bosses?
Yeah, like 2 healsters.
Whoa. They're a small indie company, they can't do that. Oh, I got a recluse thing. Wow. And a wilder thing. The sovereign sigil.
Hey, thank you for the boss run.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
no
the
problem.
carry.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thanks for playing.
Enjoy our
Bye,
7 days.
All right, thank you. Can't end it on a dub. Gotta go again. Yes, of course. We actually got a decent Guardian one. I mean, the thing is, the HP isn't really like, it's nice, but not that needed. You can't do the infinite relic roll, bro. Just look up the location of your save files. I don't even know what you're on. Are you on PC? Just look up the location of Nightreign save file and back it up. Make a copy of the save file, the folder that contains your save, and then load it. You guys did good. That was fun. Yeah, I was surprised you were dodging the nukes like left and right. I think I saw you dodge like multiple. Yeah, these are my, actually it's here if I just show my relics here. Honestly though, for Revenant, I think getting
Oh, very good. Very good indeed.
getting increased FP when you have 3+ sacred seals is really, really good. The Wraith Calling Bell is, it's definitely good. I don't know if it's needed, but it does help eliminate some pain. Sometimes the start of the run can be kind of painful on Revenant. It doesn't scale. Are you talking about the Wraith Calling Bell doesn't scale? Have I made a tier list? I don't know. I find tier lists are stupid because it's all so subjective. I mean, I guess that's the point. It's just, but like, what character is good depends on what you're trying to accomplish. I don't know, dude. Ever since Elden Ring came out, there's YouTubers who have, there's like Elden Ring YouTubers who only just like rate stuff. And I find it kind of stupid, to be honest.